To make your task easier, I'm going to introduce something called modes of representation, meaning what is the order in which I introduce objects or numbers to children. Considering that you're working on language of maths and with the manipulative aspects of maths, now how do we represent objects? Always start with real life situations. So if I'm going to teach the child 5 as a concept, as a number, I need to start with something that is very real, and the body is the most real aspect of something. So when I tell the child to actually look at, I have 5 fingers, it starts at that level. So in the real life environment, where can the child understand numbers? So start at that level. That's the first. So real life representation is the first mode of representation. The second is a manipulative set of objects. So I have keys like this, and there are 5 keys that I have in this bowl here. So get the child to count 5 keys and put it in the key ring. Now this is a small activity and keeps children occupied for a period of time, and they feel like they've done something of great importance when you give them real life objects to manipulate. The second a set of objects. It can be just any plastic pieces. So I collect lids from bottles, I collect small plastic packaging material that we may just throw away. Because why is it important for us to use everyday objects? They need to understand that mathematics lives along with them. So to simplify this, I have 5 plastic objects here, and children need to count these 5. So this is at the level of concrete application. So this is the manipulative object level, which is the second level. The third is at the level of pictures. So you can have a flower which has 5 petals. You can represent it as a real flower and also as a drawing, a 2-dimensional drawing, because this way the brain understands number at the level of pictures. Till now it was at the level of a real life object and at the level of a manipulative object. Now it becomes a representation on a piece of paper. The next step is where you have the oral language involved in maths, which is they have to be able to say 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, where they're using oral language to support a concept that the brain is being able to understand at the object and at the picture level. The next is the written symbol 5. Unfortunately, many schools start off with the written symbol, which is why many children get confused. So they get confused between counting and symbol and so on. So you need to be very, very careful here, because the modes of representation, if you go in this order, become very, very easy, and there is the least confusion that you're introducing. The next is the number name, FIVE 5, and then after that is where you go into Roman numerals and so on. In modes of representation, another aspect, you can have small blocks like this, and you can say, how will you represent 5 here? So it's not just that they're counting. A slightly older child may need to use 1 block of 4 and 1 block of 1 and understand that this becomes 5. Another way to do this, so let's assume that you already have 6 that's represented here. You'll need to take off this and add 1 more. So this becomes 5. And so on. So you can give manipulative aspects using blocks like this, and they're very, very useful for children. The last aspect is the, when you need actual manipulation. So, arrange numbers in a particular order, and children have to add or subtract and so on. So at the modes of representation level, start at real life situations, manipulative objects, picture level, then oral language, symbolic language, which is where they write the symbol, and the last is number naming. Because if you go to number naming, as many schools start off with, children get very, very confused, and that's when, after 19 they won't know whether to write 20 or 12, because they're getting confused between the TW that starts off for 12 and for 20. So these are the confusions that as parents we may need to be aware of, and if you start modes of representation like this, children find it easier. The most important aspect of observation for us as adults, if the child is ready with mathematics, or if they've really understood mathematics, they will be able to shift between the modes of representation. So from symbol to object, from symbol to real life, they'll be able to keep mixing the modes of representation. So at a simple level, how do I decide what to use or what kind of mode of representation? Number one, know what your goal is. What is it that I want to teach? Once your goal is clearly assigned, choose the materials that you have in your environment which you can use. Don't have to unnecessarily buy something online or go and invest in some kind of maths kit. You can create it with objects that you have at home. Explain to your child what you're going to be doing with the manipulatives or the pictures that you have. As much as possible, don't just download random worksheets from the internet and keep getting your children to do it over and over and again, because they're extremely boring. It's important for you to keep the child actively participating and not just following instructions or completing tasks and getting appreciation from you, because mathematics is something that causes a lot of anxiety for young children. As a result, unless it's fun based and it's something that the child can be completely involved in, they will not really enjoy it. The last step in your whole process will be the evaluation, which is not a test. You need to understand, has the child understood the concept in line with the goals that we started out with? Were they able to effectively use the manipulatives that we set up? And were they able to acquire the concept or the skill that we wanted to help them with? If you are not able to do this, then you failed. So you may need to redefine the whole process. Once your evaluation is done in this level, you may also need to understand, has the skill become very, very easy for the child? So do I need to scale it up? Or is the skill that I'm giving too difficult for my child? Do I need to break it down? Based on these rules, you may be able to support your child with greater ease. I hope this video was useful. I'm going to be talking about the 4 steps involved in understanding and how we can use manipulative skills to help children understand the concepts that they're trying to master.